Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to tell you step by step how to get an 800 plus credit score for $0. So make sure you stay until the end because I'll also be answering a question from one of my subscribers that you're not going to want to miss. Without further ado, let's dive in. Step number 1, do not miss any payments. Payment history accounts for 35% of your overall credit score. It is the largest overall category and therefore it's the most significant. This means that if you want to optimize your credit score and get it above 800, you cannot afford to miss any payments. There are many different types of payments that can potentially impact your credit score and you need to keep up with all of them. Here's just a quick list of payment types that could impact your overall credit score. Number 1, your credit card payments. 2, your auto loan payments. 3, mortgage loan. 4, your student loan, and then 5, any personal loans that you might have taken. If you borrow money from a business, a government agency, or a financial institution, then most of the time your payments on the debt will impact the payment history section of your credit score. Payment history is so significant that you should really try to do everything you can to make sure that you never miss any payments. One of the best things that you can do, and I highly recommend that you do this because I do this too, is to automate your payments. When you automate your payments, it dramatically reduces the risk of you forgetting to make them and therefore accidentally missing them. So automate your payments if possible. If you can't do that, then consider marking the days on your calendar to remind yourself to make the payments. Just don't forget this step. All right, let's move on. Step number 2, use only a small portion of your available credit. I know, a little bit interesting, right? Shouldn't you use the most? Credit utilization is the second largest factor when it comes to credit scores. This category accounts for 30% of your total credit score. Credit utilization refers to the amount of credit you use relative to your total available credit. So for example, if you have $100,000 of available credit and if you use $50,000, that's a 50% of your credit utilization. When it comes to credit utilization, less is more, meaning the lower your credit utilization is, the better it is for your overall credit score. You may have heard the old advice to keep your credit utilization below 30%. While this is generally good advice, it may not be good enough to get your credit score above 800. In fact, according to an Experian report, people with credit scores above 800 have an average credit utilization of just 6.5%. What this means that if you're serious about trying to get your credit score above 800, then you should try to reduce your credit utilization to under 10% of your available credit. So if you have 1 million of available credit, this would mean keeping your credit utilization below $100,000. Here's step number 3. Optimize your credit history length. The average length of your credit account is another highly relevant factor for your credit score. This factor accounts for 15% of your overall score. The older your credit accounts are, on average, the higher that your score will be. One of the best ways to optimize your credit history length is to open at least one credit card when you are very young. This could be a credit card with very low amounts of credit. So if you are in your late teens or early 20s, and if you don't have a credit card yet, I highly recommend that you open one. The younger that you are when you start to build credit, the better it will be for you later on. You need to be at least 18 years old to open a credit card in the United States. Don't go overboard with the credit. When you are first getting started, it's really important to build a credit history length perspective, to have at least just 1 or 2 credit accounts that are very old. Another thing is to keep in mind that you shouldn't cancel your old credit cards unless there's a very good reason to do so. A lot of people make the mistake of canceling old credit cards only to see their credit score drop significantly afterwards. Canceling old credit cards tends to reduce your average credit history length. So I recommend not doing that. Keep the old credit cards open, just don't utilize them. When it comes to credit history length, patience is a virtue. Simply waiting and holding on to your old credit cards can go a long way. Of course, make sure that you still always keep up with the payments for them though, because your credit history will still tank if you miss your payments even if you have old accounts open. Number 4, optimize your credit mix. Credit mix refers to the various types of credit accounts that you have in your name. Credit mix accounts for 10% of your total credit score. The reason why credit mix is included in your credit score is because it shows how responsible you manage different types of credit. Some people find it very odd that we are rewarded for having multiple different credit card accounts and credit types. After all, you might think that people who have fewer credit accounts are more responsible because they don't need to take on as much debt, but it's the complete opposite. The modern credit score literally rewards people for having a mix of different credit accounts. This means that if you want to optimize your credit score, you need to have a good credit card mix. A good credit mix includes several different types of credit accounts. Different types of credit accounts can include revolving credits such as credit cards, installment credits such as auto loans and personal loans, and more. So to optimize your credit mix, you should aim to have at least a few different types of credit accounts. Please do not make the mistake of only having one credit card and thinking that will be enough to get you over 800 plus. If you're aiming to have an 800 plus credit score, you should try to have a few different types and make sure you manage all of your credit accounts very well. Now, here's step number 5, new credit. The fifth and final factor for your credit score is new credit. New credit refers to the amount of times you apply for new credit and the number of new credit accounts you take on. This category makes up for 10% of your credit score. This category is a little bit tricky because yes, you do want to have multiple sources of credit. However, if you apply for too many credit accounts and if there are too many hard inquiries on your credit report, it can be bad for your credit score. Having the occasional hard inquiry to your credit report will not cause substantial damage to your credit score. For example, according to FICO, for the average person, one hard inquiry to your credit report will take less than 5 points off of your credit score. So losing 1 to 5 points every once in a while is not going to be a huge deal, but you can imagine if you're losing 1 to 5 points on a regular basis, how detrimental that can be. As a result, I would recommend not applying for credit too frequently. Space out your credit applications to optimize the percentage of your credit score that comes from a new credit. Also, keep in mind that hard inquiries only stay on your credit report for about 2 years and they only impact your credit score for 1 year. So they're less consequential than other credit-related events which can stay on your credit report for much longer, such as filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which can stay on your credit report for 10 years. But still, keep an eye on them and don't stack too many hard inquiries in too short of a time period. All right, guys, why does credit scores matter so much? You know, here on my channel, I talk about real estate investing all the time. This is because it is one of the single most powerful tax strategies out there. Many real estate investors are able to reduce their tax bills by 50 up to 100%. We do it all the time. If you want to learn more about real estate and how you can leverage real estate to reduce your tax bill, check out this video right here. But knowing the tax strategies and how to invest in real estate is just part of the equation. You also need to know how to secure mortgage loans with the most favorable possible terms if you want to optimize your wealth and build wealth in real estate. So yes, having an 800 plus credit score can get you significantly lower interest rates, which could potentially save you thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run, depending on how much rental real estate you're trying to buy. Your credit score is definitely not something that you should ever ignore. If you plan to use debt to build wealth like the rich, then improving your credit score should definitely be a priority for you in 2025. I want you to have your credit score over 800. Of course, it's still possible to invest in rental real estate without excellent credit. It will just cost you a lot more in interest. Many lenders require a credit score of at least 700 for investment loans. However, there are some who will allow for credits as low as 620. The larger your down payment is, the higher the chances are of you being able to secure an investment property loan with lower credit score. Your credit score is just one of many factors lenders will look at when evaluating you for a rental property mortgage loan. Other factors that they may look at include the projected income of the property, the location and conditions of the property, your cash reserves, and your experience as a landlord. But even though it might not be the only thing that lenders look at, it's still generally very beneficial to have a great credit score. Now, it is time for me to answer a question for one of my subscribers. This question was asked by DJ Green B on my How to Turn Everyday Expenses into Tax Write-Offs video. If you haven't seen that video yet, you know what to do. Go ahead and check it out. The question was, Karlton, if you write off everything, how can you show you made income when trying to purchase property? This is a great question because many people that are going into real estate have the exact same worry. If I offset all of my income on the tax returns, how am I going to buy more real estate in the following year or justify a loan or get my dream house? This is why tax planning is so important. We should always know what the end goal is. And most importantly, one of the big reasons why we love rental real estate is depreciation is a soft add back to your income when justifying qualifying you for a loan. So we have clients that, although report very little income, are able to get sizable loans because depreciation is being added back into the equation when qualifying our clients for a loan. If you have questions around depreciation or questions around qualifying for a loan when doing tax strategies, that's exactly what we're here for. Visit our website at www.taxalchemy.com, schedule a complimentary consultation, Talk to my tax pros, hear from them, allow for us to share with you how we help clients, review our testimonials on our website, even ask for testimonials when you get on the call. We'd be more than happy to provide them to you. We want to make sure that we do everything possible to help you make the right types of decisions on your taxes in the right way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.